What is up, guys? Vader Taters here, coming at you with another daily commentary. This is Black Ops 2, kill confirmed on raid. I do pretty good, and 94. But enough of that. Today's subject is actually just console wars in general. Not just this generation's console wars, because everyone knows what's going on with that. But I'm gonna go back to when it was the Super Nintendo versus the Sega Genesis. That was actually probably a bigger console war than there ever was, basically because those were the only two consoles out at the time of that generation. There were no other consoles. There might have been some weird, hokey ass, like third party shit from Indonesia that nobody bought, but it was the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. They were pretty evenly matched too. I think Nintendo won out that console war. I'm pretty sure they sold more copies. I mean, than the Sega Genesis did. But kids used to go crazy. I mean, I was barely involved with that one. I was only about 4 years old when that console war ended. But really, I mean, the main thing that Sega people had against Nintendo people was blast processing, which didn't actually exist. It basically just meant Sega had a faster processor than Nintendo, than the Super Nintendo. Even though the Super Nintendo actually had a bigger color palette and had more graphics capability, the Genesis just had a faster processor, which really, I guess, meant a lot. But they called it blast processing, which made everyone think it was like some space age NASA shit, when really it was just like a couple hundred megabytes faster of a processor than the Super Nintendo. But yeah, people were religious about that console war, and they still are today. Um, but then it kind of shifted. Then the N64, the Dreamcast, and the PS1 actually came out. The Dreamcast kind of faded out. Nobody really liked the Dreamcast. The N64 was actually clearly better than both of them. Both the Dreamcast and the PS1 only had 32 bits of graphics capabilities, while the N64 had um, 64 bits, obviously, of graphics capabilities. And so, really, it just boils down to what you liked better in that generation. It wasn't as big a deal what console you had then as it is now. I personally like the N60. The N64 is probably my most favorite console ever, just because of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, which is a masterpiece of video game history. I fucking love Ocarina of Time. It is my most favorite game ever. It probably will be my most favorite game ever. Although GTA 4 is in a close second with Ocarina of Time, because GTA 4 is also a masterpiece. But really, there wasn't much going on then. The PS1 kind of overtook the Dreamcast and became the new competitor to Nintendo. And then the PS2 came out, and the Xbox and the GameCube. GameCube was kind of a flop. A lot of people bought it, but it wasn't nearly as good as the Xbox, and it wasn't nearly as good as the PS2. The PS2, I think, sold more. I think the PS2 is the best-selling game system of all time. So many people bought the PS2. I had a PlayStation 2. I loved it. Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter. Nuff said. I loved my PlayStation 2. But really, that generation is when the console war kind of started up again, because the GameCube kind of faded back, and it was really the PlayStation and the Xbox. It was, do you have a PlayStation or do you have an Xbox, which is what it's like now. And people would get into arguments. The PS2 was thinner. I'm pretty sure it was faster. It had more games. The PS2 was really better than the original Xbox. And then the new generation started. PS3 came out after the Xbox 360. PS3 made a mistake with that. The Xbox 360 had a major advantage over the PS3 coming out a year before, because they were able to work out all the kinks before the Sony was. Sorry, I just totally stumbled there. Before Sony was able to work out all the kinks of the PS3, and Xbox had more games. Xbox was, had better online, and Xbox was basically just better. But actually, the winner of this generation's console war is the Wii. The Wii has sold like 5 times as many consoles as both the PS3 and the Xbox. I have a Wii and an Xbox. I love my Wii. I got it right when it came out. I also got Twilight Princess, which is like a close third of my most favorite games ever. I fucking love Twilight Princess. That game was great. It was so good. But I just think it's interesting with this time's console war, this generation's, is that nobody paid attention to the Wii, even though it sold like 20 times as many units as the PS3 and the Xbox. Basically because all of the hardcore gamers bought Xboxes and PS3s because of Modern Warfare 2. Basically, Modern Warfare 2 came out, totally revolutionized online gaming, totally revolutionized the way people look at shooting games and Call of Duty. And basically, all shooting games now are basically Modern Warfare 2 clones, just with all the kinks worked out. Of course, Modern Warfare 2, being the first of its kind and being so ambitious, had a lot of problems, a lot of glitches, things like that. And that'll happen with any game, honestly, when you get that ambitious. But yeah, really, I'm actually really excited to see who wins this generation's console war. Looking like it's going to be PS4 probably, but yep, that's it, guys. Game's over. Probably going to be releasing a couple more Let's Plays tomorrow, and I'll catch you later.